Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here on 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. Alongside Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, welcome back to the hot seat. 32 looks pretty good on you, buddy. Happy birthday this week.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a good one. I had a lot of, and thank you, by the way, for the text, everybody. It was pretty cool and a lot of fun. But, boy, you talk about activities this summer. We've got tons of stuff going on. And we had fun that night, but also a lot of fun around the region. And we are really ramping up with all kinds of sports, man, Mark. It's a good week and a good end of the summer, wouldn't you say?
Possibly the best week in sports in Hot Springs, period. I mean, Hot Springs is the place to be. It is all year round, but especially now that the calendar's turned to August. And of course, Hot Springs is known for its rich baseball history, the vibrant community support, and Majestic Park has been a premier destination for youth baseball and even youth flag football as well. I got to throw that out there. But this week's Babe Ruth World Series is a testament to all of the Hot Springs baseball legacy. Behind the scenes is a talented crew that works tirelessly to make all of this possible. General Manager Derek Phillips joins us on the show this week. Derek, what a week. It all began with a hugely successful Hot Springs baseball weekend, and now we're eyeing the finish line. What's the atmosphere been like this week at Majestic Park? Teams literally from all around the world competing for the glory.
It's been a lot of fun, real interesting. The international teams, they're really fun to watch. Some of the teams bring a lot of energy, especially Team Mexico, bring a lot of energy to the game and cheering. And we had the wave going last night. It was getting pretty fun over there. And
the teams got to experience Magic Springs and Crystal Falls. And, you know, obviously with our hometown Hot Springs team representing very well throughout the tournament, what's been your perspective kind of, you know, being the fly on the wall, watching these other teams, get acclimated to all the great things that Hot Springs has to offer?
Well, I mean, you know, you just said it, like all the teams come to us and the people here from Babe Ruth helping with the tournament and just tell us how they love the park and our hospitality and everything to do in Hot Springs. It's a really long tournament. These teams started showing up as early as last Tuesday, and you know they're having things to do and stay entertained, and I think they really enjoy that. They love our community and the history and the beauty, and they let us know, and it's makes us proud that we brought this event here and that it's been successful.
The Team Nigeria, I think they want to move here, but from a different perspective, man, this has been a great combination of different teams and high caliber ball. Did you think it would be at this level?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Nigeria has sort of been adopted here in the community. They've had a lot of fun. They went swimming the other day, and some tourists, I believe, gave them a boat ride, and that's just an experience they'll probably remember forever. And it's really interesting right now. We're about to start games here in about an hour. New Zealand got to go to the Travelers game, I believe it was Thursday night, and got to go on the field and do their historical, haka. I don't want to call it a dance, but it's their haka. And that's just really cool to see that. And I do want to thank the Travelers and Lance there with the Travelers Foundation, getting them on the field and showing them the same hospitality at the Travelers at Dickey Stevens that we're trying to show them here in Hot Springs. They've been a great partner.
Obviously, there's been a lot of great baseball this week, and I probably already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What are some of the big standout moments or games that have really just captured the spirit of the tournament this week?
I would say there's a couple, and I'll keep it fairly brief. Mexico and Hawaii were really into their game, and each team cheering each other on, and it was a 8-7 game in the last inning, about 10:30 Monday or Tuesday night. The days are starting to run together, and a young man made an awesome hustle play and kind of saved the game with he picked up a ball and ran a kid down that stopped the tying run. That was really awesome. Our local one of our local players, I believe our center fielder the other night, made an amazing diving catch and then got up and threw a kid out that was tagging up. That was so cool. Chance Hollyfield did that. He's our center fielder, and He's super fast, and that was really a cool moment there. Those are two of the plays that stick out in my mind. And then I'll tell you what I've really noticed from all teams, from our team to the Puerto Rico team, and every team here has been a lot of great sportsmanship with each other. I've enjoyed that part of it. Everybody's high-fiving and trading small gifts and giving each other, a dap when they come to the plate, and the umpires are doing the same thing. I like seeing that. It's a really cool atmosphere, and it's different than the play we have every week in and week out, and I enjoy that.
And of course, one game that really stood out to me as well is Wednesday night. The Hot Springs host team takes down an undefeated Puerto Rico squad. I talked to Rich Thompson before this match, and he was like, this team's really good. The Puerto Rico team, really, really good. This is going to be a tough battle. Final score didn't tell me that story. 9-2, Hot Springs got it done. How big was that for the host team?
It was really huge for the home team going into this semifinal game versus Mexico. They had lost 2 heartbreakers the 2 nights before. They're easily one of the top 4 or 5 teams in this tournament. And those heartbreakers, really hurt. One of them was a huge last-inning comeback by the team from Missouri. One of them was a 1-0 game to Tallahassee, who's very good. And, those were heartbreaking. And then to have a game like that last night, and our young man, Preston York, came out and just dominated the game and really quieted the Mexico team and crowd, and they have some serious talent. They've got 2 kids that I bet we see in about 6 or 7 years in the major leagues. They look like SEC athletes, a couple of those kids, and they were very good players and great young men to interact with. And so that win last night, I think, maybe shows the community, hey, we really are as good as the other teams, because you're right. Puerto Rico was the 2 seed and undefeated.
And of course, I've worked multiple tournaments out at Majestic Park over the years, and I've met the crew. It takes a village to get it all done. I talked about it at the beginning of the interview, but let's dive a little bit further. This, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming this is the biggest endeavor that Majestic Park has ever had the opportunity to undertake. Tell me what that has looked like behind the scenes to set this all up. This has been months in the making. What has it taken for not only yourself, but your entire team to get this show on the road and have it move so smoothly?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We signed the contract to host this tournament last April, and we have literally been working on it since then and really geared up when the year started. The interaction with Babe Ruth League and the international teams and all the coordination of so many things that go along with that has been really something typically we don't do. Even some of our bigger tournaments, we don't work on and coordinate things that far out. A lot of tournaments are, 6 weeks, 4 weeks of preparation and communication, and then because we play every weekend from end of January to Thanksgiving, so we play tournaments all the time. We've never had one where we've worked on a tournament for over a year, and our people, we've done so many things behind the scenes to really show our great hospitality and get people involved in the community and businesses. And I'll just say this: the businesses and the community and the volunteers has been amazing. Our Friends of Majestic Park board has helped us provide an ambassador to each team, and they've helped them throughout the week while they're here. I'm so thankful for those guys and all that effort they did. And dealing with international teams and Babe Ruth League, who has multiple World Series going on right now, is really has been a huge event and something unlike I've ever done. And so it's a proud moment as we get closer to the finals and things seem to be really successful.
Derek, here's another thing, too. You were just talking about community, and for some of the listeners that may not have, had the possibility to get out there or something, tell them a little bit more about the impact, not only at Majestic Park, but what this has done for the city of Hot Springs, the county of Garland, and also for the state of Arkansas.
Yeah, I've got a few good points there. I appreciate that question. For the community, we've had 15 teams, and 2 teams are semi-local. So 13 teams from all over the country and all around the world spending a week to a week and a half here, staying in our hotels, staying in our restaurants. I've heard amazing things from some of our businesses and partners, how they've seen the kids, at stores and restaurants, and the hotels have enjoyed having the kids here. It's, been a big economic impact as far as that goes. So, that's part of the plan, bring a tournament here that long. And, people from all over the world come and spend time here with the great tourism of Hot Springs.
And of course, with record crowds, and I mean record crowds at Majestic Park, what are some of the challenges that you and your team have faced this week and some of the ways that you've helped overcome those?
We've added some seating, and we've increased our staffing. That's gone really well. Speaks to the amazing park we have here and the work we've done to, get it ready for the tournament, and the hospitality that Visit Hot Springs, Steve Harrison, and our team has provided for all these teams and everybody working here. The umpires, another funny story real quick. The umpires are staying here at Out of the Park, and that's our headquarters for the Babe Ruth World Series. And they're sending pictures to all the other umpires across the country doing different age group World Series right now, and they're extremely jealous because we've rolled out the red carpet for the task force and the umpires and all the teams here.
And that leads me into my next spot, Derek. Of course, the success of this year. I know that your brain never turns off. It's probably the cogs are always turning when you're in bed at night asleep. But obviously, with the success of this event this year, what's next? What's the big goal? What's the next big thing? What can you tell us? I don't know how to go bigger from here, but what can you tell us about maybe what's next for Majestic Park?
Answer for that, the Babe Ruth World Series and Cal Ripken World Series, it's the same organization, are 2 and 3 years out on contracts. So we're not contracted for a World Series next year, but the CEO of Babe Ruth League, Stephen Tellefson, and all the task force, and even the teams and their commissioners have all said, you've got to get a World Series back here immediately. And there's not anything available for next year, so not next year, but we're definitely in talks for 2027 because they love the job we've done here. And then there's a couple of tournaments that are very big to us, but they're not signed yet. So I think I need to come back for another show in maybe a couple of months and discuss a couple of big things coming next spring, specifically in May.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we talk about Majestic Park. Feels like every week on the show. Yeah, absolutely. We'll be glad to have you on a future show as well. Championship Saturday, we're on the horizon. Derek, congratulations to not only you, but your staff, Steve Harrison, the staff of Visit Hot Springs. It takes a village. It takes an entire city. It takes really the entire county of Garland County to make this work, and it has done so beautifully. Hats off to you and the squad for a amazing time this week here in Hot Springs.
Well, thank you so much, and I just want to tell anybody that's listening, you can get tickets at majesticpark.org before you come to the game. We've got 3 days left with some great games left in the brackets. And I'm available to anyone that has any questions.
That's Derek Phillips, the general manager of Majestic Park, the most beautiful baseball complex in all the state of Arkansas. I'm a travel ball dad now, so now I've been to a lot of other venues, and I can say that with full confidence. Derek, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Hey, thank you guys for letting me go on.
Well, man, oh man, exciting stuff around there, Mark. Exciting stuff.
Yep, more to come on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. Don't go anywhere. A local favorite comes your way next on 92.9 KVRE.
Second quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com, and on iHeartRadio. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Our high school football summer preview series continues with our first deep dive into Perry County. 2 years ago, the Bigelow Panthers took the 2A scene by storm, bringing home the program's first state championship. Last year, the team had a 10-3 record with a second-round playoff appearance. Those sophomores from that title squad are now seniors heading into 2025, and with that leadership also comes high expectations for the program. Coach Luke Starks joins us on the show this week to tell us more. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are y'all?
Oh man, we're getting there right now.
Coach, what a great year, winning the state championship, coming back. Coach, is the saying true? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. What were some of the challenges that you and the team faced last year when trying to repeat that same level of success?
Absolutely. I could agree with that. Coming into the season last year, obviously that we knew that there was going to be an assortment of challenges, one of which was losing several components of that 2023 team, one being a quarterback, another one being our leading rusher, leading tackler, two really good receivers and DBs for us. But, we brought it back a lot back up front, which is kind of what we leaned on into early in the season when we were trying to figure out, I guess, kind of what our MO was going to be as far in our identity on the offensive side. We did return several last year on the defensive side. I think we had 8 seniors that were going to be starting, a lot of them 3-year starters. So, that side of the ball wasn't a huge concern, but it was more kind of figuring out what we were going to do offensively. And, that took several weeks till we could kind of figure that out. And, just trying to fit and figure out the quarterback situation. One of the guys we thought was going to do it ended up leaving us kind of late in the spring last year. And one of the seniors, Martell Macon, got thrown into that role and did an outstanding job, considering he'd never played that position. So just losing that big group, and then on top of the fact that week in and week out, you're going to have the target on your head. And we definitely felt that several weeks out of the season. But yeah, I thought the guys did a great job kind of as far as their mental state goes and preparing each week, knowing that, we were going to have to face those things every week.
And then, of course, another part of that story for the Panthers last season. So you win the title in Little Rock, and then you come back to start the year. You drop your first 2 games of the year to some, local rival teams. The Perry County rivalry doesn't go your way. But once it comes around to that magazine game, Hector, once you start conference play, this team really righted the ship. What was it that fueled that turnaround point for your team?
Yeah, right. I mean, we started 1-2 on the year in non-conference, beat England, and then faced a really good Mayflower team and a really good Perryville team. And that was kind of in that time frame, which I kind of hit on earlier, of us trying to figure out what we were going to do offensively. We were getting in a bunch of different sets. I think a lot of that was on us as a staff, just trying to plug and play different schemes and different sets, and some worked and some didn't, and the outcome kind of felt like it was. And by the end of non-conference, I feel like we had a good idea of what we wanted to do the rest of the season. And then we come out of the bye week and kind of get on track with magazine and then into Hector and kind of the meat of that conference schedule. And we kind of picked up momentum. We were being efficient with the ball offensively. Special teams looked good. Defense was playing well. So I think it took a few weeks, which sometimes that happens like that. That's what non-conference is for. You love to win them all, but season doesn't really start until that first conference game, and it just took us a little bit to kind of figure it out last year.
Okay, so 2024 didn't end with another state championship trophy, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't a very solid year for your squad. How has the team responded going into this offseason and this summer with the taste of last year's playoff loss still in their mouth?
It's crazy, but it's a very similar story to the transition from 2023 to 2024. We bring it's just kind of flip-flop. Like, we bring a lot back on the offensive side. Defensively, however, we lose those 8 guys that were returning in 2024. So it's the same story, just flip the other side of the ball. I feel like we've went through team camps this year. We went several team camps in the summer. We've been through fall camp, getting ready for our first scrimmage coming up. So we're just trying to figure out what works best for us on the defensive side, just kind of plugging and playing guys at different spots, seeing what they do well. And I feel like we're kind of ahead of where we should be. I do think we've gotten a really good idea the last week or two. That's not final yet, but again, that's what the scrimmages and the non-conference are for. But offensively, we've got 4 seniors starting on the offensive line, so I think that's going to be a big strength for us is our guys up front, both sides of the ball, really. We will start a new quarterback, but he's a senior this year. He's been a quarterback since 7th grade, just kind of waiting his turn, waiting on his time, that type of thing. He's a great leader, great young kid as well. And at the skill spots offensively, we bring back one of our biggest producers from the last 3 years, really. He started it since a 10th grader, Easton Platt. Him, and then we've got several sophomores that are going to kind of give us a little bit of, I guess, more athleticism, and we can kind of spread it out a little bit this year. Got several guys that run routes really well and catch the ball. And so the offensive side of the ball, I think we know what we're going to try to do. And it's just kind of getting the defensive side caught up and figured out.
Coach, without giving too much away, I've seen, the Panthers do several different styles and pull up different schemes and such. I mean, in Years change, and so do the players. Are you going to try to bring up those same schemes that you always had, or are you going to try to dictate the kind of players you've got? Because you're very diversified in the offense and defense. Y'all really get after it. Is there anything different this year, without giving too much away, that you guys might try as far as schemes?
Sure. So our philosophy, especially at this level, I don't think you can just have one scheme and that you just live and die on that every year. You've got at the 2A level, you've got different types of kids that cycle through every year. So I think you've got to kind of adapt your system and what you want to do to the kind of kids that you have. So yeah, we'll do some things a little different. Like I said, last year we had a different look, I guess, or different. Our type of kids that we had did things differently than this year's group, if that makes sense. So yeah, yes and no. I think our core stuff that we do, it'll stay the same. We've got a couple of sets that we're going to stay in and year out, but also the stuff that we mixed in to give different looks will look differently this year than it did last year. Sure, absolutely.
Coach, you've mentioned some of those returners. One of them, Easton Platt. I've known Easton Platt since he was about like a foot tall. I love Kip and Amy, and great parents, great family, and that's really kind of like really the heart of what Bigelow Panthers athletics has been for years. It's great families, great communities, all bought in for one big goal there. And, you talked about some of those returners who are expected to step up and kind of lead this year. Tell me about some of those newer faces, the younger players, the underclassmen who have also really stepped up and maybe surprised you during summer and camp this year.
Yeah. So we had a really good ninth grade class move up. Not all of them made it through the spring, but a few of them that I expect big things out of would be the first one, Wrangler Manus. He'll be a 10th grader. He plays receiver and free safety for us, played quarterback in junior high. Look to get him into some of those different type of packages offensively, and just try to find ways to get the ball in his hand a little bit. Very athletic. Another one is Bradley Griffiths. He's going to be a defensive end for us. Really, really gritty, really got a good fire, great motor too. And all these guys, like you said, they're great kids. We're blessed with a good type of kids. These guys are respectful. They work hard. They don't have any issues with doing whatever's asked of them. And then in the junior class, we've got several that are going to step up and get some meaningful minutes for the first time. One is Luke Schluterman. He'll be playing center for us. Another one's Pierce Robertson. He's another guy on the defensive side we're kind of moving around, seeing where he fits. Logan Howe, he'll be on the back end at the other safety spot. Jake Berry's another 10th grader that I'm really high on. He's a hard worker, to play corner and receiver for us. And then a couple of the seniors that I didn't really hit on. I don't want to leave anybody out. So left to right on the offensive line, Jacob Harris is left tackle. He started for 3 years for us. The left guard is Jake Browning, and then right guard is Tate Watson, who is also another 3-year starter. And then at right tackle, Jasper Shaw. He's coming back to us this year for the first time in 2 years, but has shown great progression through the summer, and really excited about him as well. And then on the defensive side, Bradley Hamlin is our big nose guard. It's expecting a lot out of him this year. He's a 3-year starter as well on that side of the ball. And so yeah, I mean we've got a good upper class group that they didn't have a lot of success in junior high, but the last 2 years, they've got a taste of kind of what it's like, and I don't expect anything to look like their ninth grade season. I think we went like 3-7 or something in junior high. I don't expect that at all this year. This group has grown together and really developed with the weight room, which is a huge part of what we are over here. These guys love the weight room. And so, yeah, just really, really excited about this group.
Hey, Coach, on the lighter side, hey, look, I know living in a rural area out there, I know a lot of them boys like to fish, and, of course, a lot of them work all summer long. How have you managed to get them stirred up and get them to those team camps or 7-on-7?
Yeah, well, so this summer we actually started for the first time going in the mornings. We typically have went the last 5 or 6 years in the afternoon around 5 o'clock, which for one, it's extremely hot at that time. And two, these guys don't really like giving up their afternoons. However, attendance has always been good here, just the last 4 or 5 years. But this year we switched up to 8 in the morning. And, getting up a little earlier is a little rough for some of them guys. But hey, we get up and get done, and then they can go fish, work, and do whatever it is that 17, 18-year-old dudes like to do. So that's kind of our deal. Is hey, get up and get the work in, and then you go do and enjoy your day however you want to.
Exactly.
So, Coach, looking at the schedule, I see some big games this year. Tell us more. What are some of maybe the challenges that the team will face this year, either in non-conference or conference play? What are some of those must-see games that fans have to make plans to go check out this year?
Yeah, obviously we like to preach to our kids, let's take it a week at a time, and we try to live by that as well. Just week in and week out, let's not look ahead. Let's not look backwards. If we got beat on one or played really well, that's over with. Move on to the next one and don't look ahead. But obviously, there's a few every year that are the big rivalry game with Perryville. That's always a really fun one. People come from all over the county to fit into the little 2A or 3A stands, and that place is always packed, and the environment's great for that one. And then, moving into the conference play, it's Conway Christian's always a good one too. We're real close to each other, so that attendance is always great for that. Another great environment type to a high school football game. Mount Ida is another one. I thought we traveled really well to their place last year. I would expect them to travel really well to our place. It is a bit of a drive, and I think they're going to have a great squad this year. Coach White does a great job there. And so, just obviously we try to treat them all the same, but there's a few right there that I would expect, good environment and an exciting little deal there.
And of course, earlier I mentioned the community and the great support from all the families. What role does the community in Bigelow play in supporting these guys, in supporting this football program and helping get you guys ready for success this year?
I think they feed off of each other, really. We do a little tailgate deal on Fridays before. I think Mr. Tracy's been to one, and he could probably tell you a little bit. I mean, it's great. It's fun. People line up. We've got a little strip right here on the back side of the football field that goes up to where we dress and, have our pregame meal at. We'll go up there after school and eat, have the meal and rest or whatever. And then, we come down, and all the while we got a crap load of people out here just tailgating and having fun and getting ready for the game. And then we'll do our little player walk and kind of get them all juiced up and stuff right before we start getting dressed. And the kids feed off of that. I feel like the fans and the community feed off of obviously during the game and everything. And so, yeah, I don't think you can really have one without the other. And that's a big part of a small school program is just, the buy-in from.
Hey, Coach, one last question for me. There are three phases of football: offense, defense. Special teams going to help out a little bit this year, maybe?
Special teams will absolutely help out this year. We've got, again, our dynamic is different a little bit this year. So I feel like in years past, there's, obviously there's always like one or two that are off limits, but for special teams. But this year it's like, hey, everybody is pre-game. I'm really excited. I mean, Coach Simpson's been putting in crazy work on the kickoff scene, the kickoff return. He's got some stuff ready to roll for us. I'm expecting big things from the special teams this year for sure.
Well, we're expecting big things from the entire Bigelow Panthers squad this year. Coach Luke Starks joins us on the program. Coach, good luck this year. We can't wait to be talking to you around playoff time for another deep run. The road to Little Rock starts today. Thanks for joining us this week.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
I know you got to get back to that ground crew, so I'll let you go, buddy. I'll talk to you later. Good luck this year, okay?
All right. We'll
see you soon, okay?
Awesome. Yes, sir.
Tracy, it's crazy that the high school football summer preview series rolls right along. Our first game is really right around the corner. August 29th will be here before we know it, and so many of these teams will be in action. More to come on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. We're back in a moment on 92.9 at KVRE.
Third quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, do you see the story in the MLB this week? Kind of a really cool journey here. Jen Powell made history this week as the first woman to umpire behind the plate in a regular season MLB game. It's a huge milestone for baseball and for gender equity in sports. Did you see the game?
Mark, I saw the highlights, and really, that's what. Yes, it was something to reveal. How did you feel about that?
I think it's great for the sport. I
Great
do.
for the sport, but how'd you feel about her umping?
Well, okay, so, social media showed me more of her mistakes. I believe it was the very first pitch of the game.
I thought that was wrong of them to do that, though.
Well, that's exactly. It's exactly. I mean, umpires make mistakes all the time.
All the time.
All the time, especially the male umpires, right, who have been the cream of the crop there for years and years in MLB. So to really focus in on that, and I'm sure there was probably a lot of pressure there. But umpires are going to make mistakes. For me, it's in one ear, out the other. I think it's great for the sport because as it stands, we have like this professional softball that's kind of come up. With like Bree Ellis and the Razorback legend, and that was all fine and good, but it was like a 6-game season and it was only in a few select cities. I'm open to the idea that maybe one day you'll have female players in the MLB. And I also think that we're probably light years away from that happening. But like they say in Angels in the Outfield, hey, it could happen.
But, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to stop you there. One thing. If they start doing inter-squad like that, then they ought to just go and make inter-squad teams.
I mean, honestly, why not? If the talent is there.
Do they shorten the field?
No. If it's MLB, then you play MLB dimensions and rules. It's not a guy thing. It's not a man thing.
So guys can play softball then?
I'm talking about the MLB right now, okay?
Wait a minute. You're saying being fair.
Well, let's talk about professional sports here. Okay. Softball does not have a professional equivalent. If you want to play in the big show, the biggest
all
possible
6 games.
The biggest possible stage, if you want to play baseball, I think that down the road there could be an avenue for that to happen and have that inclusivity. But regardless of your stance on that topic, look, there have been women umpires in the game in baseball for years at the lower ranks. High school has them. College has a lot of them. And Jen,
volunteer-wise, a lot of
I mean, and they're they can do it just as well as the guys
she
can
made
do
a
it.
good call at the plate, Mark. They didn't show that, did they?
Well, it's more than just any call at the plate. It's the highlight and what it does for the sports. I mean, we have women coaches in the NBA now, and to my knowledge, there's no women players in the NBA. But with
pro football.
Exactly. We have officials in NFL as well. So, it's a really cool story for Powell, who got her start. She was born in New Jersey. She was a standout catcher at Hofstra University, played Division I softball, was part of the, and this is important, she was part of the U.S. women's national baseball team in 2001 for the Olympics. Before umpiring full-time, she served as an art teacher, and she's been umpiring NCAA softball since about 2010 or so. She was involved with the MLB side of things in terms of umpiring starting around 2015, and she has called numerous games, more than 1,000 minor league games, rising through the ranks, AAA, AA, spring training games. So to finally have this stage, it was earlier this week, it was Marlins Braves, the doubleheader. I think she started the first game at first base and it was behind the plate for the second game. I think this is really, really special. And you had a lot of players, not even from these two teams, but just across the league that came out. Adam Wainwright was one of them and said, look, I've got a daughter. Like, this is important. This is important to show, hey, you can do this. You can do anything you set your mind to. It's 2025. It's a game that's over 100 years old. We talk about it all the time, but we're still finding ways to do something that's never been done before, breaking those barriers of entry to the game. I thought it was really, really special. And I know it wasn't, it goes beyond, the teams competing for playoff spots. And it was really more of a behind the curtain kind of thing. And the umpires, for one, really don't get love as it is
no
men
way.
or women,
Exactly.
no matter if it's softball, baseball, whatever. So to shine the spotlight on that level of the game, because in my work on the media side as a broadcaster, I interact with umpires all the time. And this happens more often than not in my realm, is I'll have umpires come to me either before a game, baseball, softball, doesn't matter. They'd be like, hey, you're live streaming today. My mom wants to watch. Mom doesn't care about the game. Mom wants to see her son or her daughter officiating the game behind the plate or out in the field. And the first time that an umpire came to me and said, I'm so glad you're live streaming because my mom wants to watch me, I was like, man, that's real. Like, I never thought about that. But,
sure.
I mean, they're just people too, right? They're just people too. And boy, do they get the brunt of it whenever they're wrong. And sometimes they're very, very wrong. But they're just people too, trying to make a living, trying to survive, trying to grow their love of the game. You know, father time gets us all eventually where we can't play anymore, but you always find a way to stay connected to the game that you love so much. And that's what I love about it.
And I wonder about this too, Mark. Who was the guys up there in the big front offices that said, you know what are our numbers after, because they did a big PR boost on it, you know that, right? And so what would the numbers been before she was going to call the game, and then what were their numbers after they, introduced her and said that she's going to be? I mean,
let's look at it. Brass tacks. MLB fans, probably one of the first things you do every morning is check the standings. Look, if you're looking at the standings, Marlins, Braves, as of right now, neither of these teams are in the playoff hunt. Real sad for Atlanta, honestly.
So they needed something.
But you know what? Hey, viewership went up.
Exactly.
And is it because, I wonder if the Marlins or the Braves are going to win today? No, it wasn't.
Moneyball.
Because it is a story. I know there's people out there be like, yeah, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It may not be a big deal to you, but it is a big deal for the sport. And I love to see it, and I love to see more of it as well. Hey, women can do it too. Hey, and when we look at the MLB standings, Tracy, things are all crazy right now. I remember before the season began, I remember making the pick. I have Red Sox Dodgers in the World Series. And there was a long stretch there. I was like, oh boy, the Red Sox are terrible. This is going to look really, really bad. People are not going to listen to us anymore. Both those teams are in the wild card hunt right now. And I want to say that one more time for emphasis. Both of those teams are in the wild card hunt right now. What is happening in Southern California? The Dodgers are no longer leading the NL West.
No doubt. I mean, and if you think about it, when we talked about this earlier, what was the very first game of the year over in Japan?
Oh, yeah.
And they played pretty tough then.
They started the season 8-0, I believe.
Yeah. Yes.
And now the San Diego Padres, who are a dark horse in the NL West, it may not even be fair to call them a dark horse because that's a solid ball club out there. They are standing on top. And there's been a lot of mix-ups all throughout the league and a lot of movement. Of course, we always talk about, who's going to get hot after the All-Star break, who's going to get hot in September specifically. I don't know what's going to happen in September, but I'm telling you what's happening in August right now. You've seen a resurgent Seattle Mariners squad challenging the Houston Astros for the West. Go Mariners, go. Keep on going. But in the NL Central, the hottest team since the All-Star break is also now the best team in the MLB, and it's not even close. It's the Milwaukee Brewers. At the time of our recording, they've got 76 wins on the season. Nobody's come close. They're on a 12-game winning streak. This team, and it's full of veterans that were maybe a flash in the pan a year ago. Christian Yelich was a huge name in the MLB like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Had some injury concerns, kind of fell off. Other stars kind of rose up, better name recognition. He's back. And this pitching core is back. And they've got something to prove. This is a team that, we hear these coaches all the time, blue-collar guys. That's what it feels like what you've got out in Milwaukee right now. This is not by any means one of the largest markets in the MLB or in professional sports at all. But there's something about it. The Bucks winning the championship a few years ago in the NBA, the Brew Crew looking really, really strong. Of course, this thing is wide open by any means in terms of the World Series. But as an MLB aficionado, I love to see those teams rise up and make some noise. Look, let's paint a perfect world for Mark Oliver where the Chicago White Sox win the World Series year after year after year. It'd be nice because it's my team, but the truth is I love the parity that the MLB has. It's not always the big market. It's not, when's the last time the Yankees won a World Series, right? Now the Dodgers are probably the team to beat, and they're probably still the team to beat, even though that they're in the wild card hunt right now, which is still crazy for me to accept as an MLB fan. But I love to see these other teams up there making noise. Who's leading the AL East right now? The Toronto Blue Jays. There's so many teams out there that haven't done anything in quite a while, and you just start thinking, man, this might be the year for them.
I don't know, the Brewers, I'm thinking about, just like you said, and I want to reemphasize that, and I don't want to say the word has-beens, but you're right. A lot of those guys it's their second chance, and they're making the most of it. That's what I'm thinking, a lot of them. And
they're a really streaky team, too. And I mean that in all the best ways. They won, I think, 11 games in July, a 12-game winning streak in August, and
best record at home for a while.
And I believe in terms of the winning streaks, those 2 long winning streaks there, there's less than 10 teams that have done that since like the 60s. Like they have great chemistry. It's just an incredible year here. It's an incredible year. Andrew Vaughn, a former Chicago White Sox, by the way, picked him up mid-season. He's been huge, 32 RBI in just 21 games. This is the team to watch right now. If you love, as a baseball purist, if you love just players who love the game, it's not about the money. It's just about the clout and the winning and representing the communities that they support. Yeah. Milwaukee's on a hot streak right now.
Oh, I was going to say too, and besides the game that got washed out the other night, when we want to be thinking of those folks there too,
sure,
during the flood. But the thing about it is also the fan base. Not the biggest city in the world, but you talk about fan base, it's right up there with. You think about Green Bay, and on the football level, these are they named the word fanatic after them, the fans.
Yes,
it's just that simple, and they fill up the seats. It's just that crazy when you watch them, and all you Cubby fans out there thought, oh, maybe this is our year again, but not so fast. And I don't know if it's in the brew, so to speak. Bada boom. But anyway, that's a whole nother angle. But no, you're right. But with baseball, Mark, you know this better than I, because I'm football. You do a lot more baseball. But baseball is a funny game. It's, of course, a team sport, same as football, but it can pull around. You don't have to have just one guy out there dinging, like a Raleigh out there, an Ohtani or a Judge or something like that. It all works together in unison. And I think that as baseball, even in maybe hockey second, they have to work close together because the game is fast. And with football, you can make mistakes and come back. Baseball, I'll tell you what, everybody I think is on the same page. And when they get on the same page, and a lot of times they'd lost a lot of viewing because it gets a slow pace, but it's methodical. I mean, there's chess matches in this altogether. And you see these managers just sitting in there. I know it looks like they're not doing anything, but the whole time they're thinking, okay, who's coming up next, and blah, 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 and who's on the mound, and who have I got in the bullpen, and it's a chess match. So it's something beautiful to watch. And I know it's slow paced sometimes, but they've hurried up the game a little bit, with the pitch count, the timing stuff. But the way that they're playing right now, and of course I can't say much either. I've said Atlanta and Baltimore, going and look at both of them in the bottom of the barrel. So I can't say a whole lot. But it's something to watch them. And with the streaming, like we were talking to earlier with Brian earlier, in the sports end of it, you can watch any baseball game now streaming, any one of them. And so I've been keying in on it a little bit, the same way as I watched earlier with the female umpire. But it was something, these guys are working together, and somehow it's all in unison. And they don't have the best of the best, but they got the best of the best right now working together. And I think that's what's making it. And I think right now that's going to be a tough one. I mean, anybody over there right now, I don't know anybody else. Do you see somebody? I mean, of course, a lot of people still they're going to be Dodgers fans forever.
The one thing I've learned as an MLB fan is that wild card does not mean lesser team.
No.
If you're there, if you make the postseason in any position, any seeding, even if it's the dead last seed of the wild card, you are still a legitimate threat to win it all. I actually don't want to say what I think. I want to know what our fans think, Tracy. So you can text us on the text line 501-915-1300. It's the middle of August. I want to know, has your original pick to win the World Series. Is that still your pick, or has it changed? Who do you have winning it all? Once again, the text line 501-915-1300. Our local roundup is next. We got a lot of stories coming your way. Don't go anywhere. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition coming up next on 92.9 KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. It's our lightning round local roundup. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, tough loss in Duluth, Minnesota last weekend. The dream season comes to an end for the Hot Springs Wise Guys. They fall to the Duluth Harbor Monsters in Arena Mania 2. The Harbor Monsters have now won back-to-back titles in the only 2 Arena Manias that there have been in the Arena League. Hey, but not a bad shout for the first year, getting all the way to the title game. They were in it every step of the way. There were multiple times during that game, even when the Wise Guys were down 3, sometimes 4 touchdowns, they always found a way to turn it around and come back into the game. And poor little River Oliver, the emotions, the highs, the lows. It was incredible to watch, and I can't wait to get back to watch them again at Bank OZK Arena next year.
No, a lot of electricity there, Mark. We had so much fun, and they'll be back. They will be back. But hey, big shout out to Coach Bugatti, though, right?
Yeah, Bones Bagante, the Arena League Coach of the Year. It's a no-brainer. You come in, this organization, they literally rip the shrink wrap off this thing. He leads his team to the title game, and what a leader as well. I've had an opportunity to meet him outside the field. You know, I've seen him training and shooting hoops in the NPC basketball gym, and just a great young man. We've had him on the show. A real great leader. The Wise Guys and Chris Goodman did well with selecting him to lead this group.
I can't wait to get him back again. I mean, I know for a fact next year is going to be bigger and better, and with the way the community has backed them, and of course the fan base is there. We saw it in person, and it's going to be something special next year. And I think here's the deal about, and we talked to him personally.
Yeah,
he said I will be back. Make no bones about it. No pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
But we will be back and better and stronger next year. He's got a better angle at it, you know, and generally that happens. First year coach, you know, and he gets the he gets the taste of it, and now he knows exactly what to expect. It's different. Arena League is different.
Hey, and Hot Springs got a taste of it too. Those crowds were pumped up.
Followed it all.
And the parade afterwards, you know, usually you hold a championship parade for whenever you win. And even though that the Wise Guys lost in the championship game, I mean, that place was crazy on Tuesday. That place was absolutely crazy. And I love that the Wise Guys did that anyway, because it's more about the wins and it's not about the wins and the losses. It's more about the relationships made in the community, and they did that very, very well this year. Hey, hats off to Lakeside sophomore Isabella Altamirano, who recently won the annual Hot Springs Village tennis tournament. Get this, Tracy. She just won her 6th in a row.
Crazy.
And now is heading to the state finals. I mean, this is incredible. 6th trophy in 7 years. She didn't even compete 2 years ago in 2023. She won the tournament for the first time when she was 9 years old. I mean, talk about a dynasty, a dominant young lady. Congrats to Altamirano.
Think she's got a future in this sport? Maybe just.
I hope so. I hope. I know they're like, what sport are you gonna bring back to NPC? Look, I have no information, but if it is tennis, I know the first one we're calling.
I guarantee you that. Yeah, no doubt about that. A proud representative of the Rams, and no doubt will be in the future. Looking, I'm just curious. Where do you think she's going to go to college? Henderson?
Probably anywhere she wants to go.
I like that one.
Whenever you're that dominant since the age of 9, if any tennis athletic director that is paying attention is probably already got her in their back pocket. That's our show, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. We're here every Saturday at 10 a.m. on 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. We'll see you next week.
Game over.